For more reaction and analysis on this, let's speak to Professor Bheki Mngomezulu joining us live now. Prof, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. The DA is currently a 26% party in the city of Johannesburg, with the ANC, of course, leading there with 33% from the 2021 local government elections. Does the political profile of Helen Zille have what it takes to take the Democratic Alliance from 26 to 50 plus 1%?
Thank you very much, Oliver, and good afternoon to your viewers. First of all, let us be honest on this one. Currently, the scales are tilted in favor of the DA, given what has been happening in terms of service delivery in Gauteng, and then also given what the president of the ANC, President Cyril Ramaphosa, rightly or wrongly said recently when he convened a meeting at FNB Stadium with the ANC councillors, where he publicly admitted that municipalities that are run by the DA are run better than those that are run by the ANC. That was an own goal. But having said all of that, the reality here is that we have so many political parties, which means therefore that it's very difficult for one particular party to have an outright majority or get the 50+1 threshold. So basically then it means that you have a possibility of one party leading the pack but falling short of getting the required 50+1 threshold. In this particular instance, you have the ANC that is running Johannesburg, and then we have so many concerns that people are raising. So people are not going to say that we can look at these particular issues from a practical point of view or then be realistic about them. They will say, let us give another party a chance. And basically it means that people might be voting out of anger and not necessarily based on the correct analysis of the situation. In that case then, it confirms the point I made earlier on that as far as I'm concerned, currently the scales are tilted in favor of the DA. And therefore Helen Zille's job is half done.
Yeah, the Democratic Alliance in Gauteng has not been able to successfully hold on to their coalition agreements. We've seen it fall apart in the city of Tshwane. We've seen it fall apart in the city of Ekurhuleni. And we've also seen it fall apart in Mogale City, for instance. And it seems as though wherever the Democratic Alliance has an opportunity to lead by a coalition, it is not able to build consensus around its plan of government. Will Helen Zille, with her experience of having led a coalition government in the city of Cape Town and later on in the Western Cape province, have what it takes to keep a coalition agreement together for her to see the end of term?
Oliver, I'll repeat what I've said in the past, that South Africa is not ready for coalitions. We were forced into coalitions by the results of the elections, but as a country, we are not ready, particularly because our politicians have no clue on how to run a coalition government. There was a time when a coalition government failed in the UK where there were only two political parties, particularly because they had no idea of how to manage a coalition. Then in South Africa, it's even worse with so many political parties. I've said in the past, and I'll repeat it now, that one of the challenges that the DA currently faces is an identity crisis. On the one hand, it sees itself as a firm opposition to the ANC. So it basically, it's checkmating the ANC, and the ANC is checkmating the DA. In the process, they lose focus. So in terms of coalition politics, when the DA is in the majority, it fails to lead because it wants to dominate everyone, which then defeats the purpose of forming a coalition government. That is where Helen Zille is going to suffer, because she is also divisive. On many occasions, she has been divisive.
Yeah. What does this say about the Democratic Alliance, that the fact that it went and dug up one of its oldest leaders in the party? We can't look past the fact that Helen Zille will be 75 years old at the time the election takes place. And if she does see the end of term, she'll be an 80-year-old mayor at the end of that term. We can't look past the fact that she's not a resident of the city of Johannesburg. Yes, she was born and raised here, but her politics and political profile was built in the city of Cape Town. And that the Democratic Alliance looked past its talent pool in the city of Johannesburg or in Gauteng for for a mayoral candidate, that they had to quite literally import one from another province to be able to build the profile. Has the Democratic Alliance admitted to itself that it has a talent crisis, the fact that it has to recycle leaders? For instance, it couldn't hold on to what seemed like a promising and talented Mpopalatse, for instance, who was the last Democratic Alliance mayor in the city of Johannesburg. It couldn't reel in the seemingly provincial popularity of Solim Simanga, for instance. What does it say about the Democratic Alliance's talent pool and its ability to build and cultivate leaders, the fact that it has to recycle back in an older leader?
Oliver, let us be honest in answering your question. One honesty is that the DA has capability to run municipalities, but it has a serious problem of being racially oriented. On many occasions, we have had a situation whereby you will have black capable leaders who are sidelined. You remember when they went to a conference, I think it was in 2018, I made a statement that the likes of Mbali Ntuli, for example, in my view, at the time, was the best candidate. But then racial elements came in. Then the DA came and said, we are not going to be using racism or the race factor whenever we elect candidates. We are going to be looking at people who are going to lead the country forward. Has that happened? I'm not too sure. So the problem then is that the number of people you have just mentioned, they are leaders in their own right. But the problem is, if you still have conservative elements within the DA, then the DA is going to have some problems. In terms of talent, there is enough talent in the DA. Then the other point you are mentioning about the age factor, it's not just a DA problem. It's South African politics problem. These parliamentarians will tell you that if you turn 65, then you must retire. But they sit in those benches until they are over 90. Then where is logic there? So it means that if Helen Zille remains in office until she is 80 years, she would not be the first and definitely she would not be the last. So the conversation we should be having is that what these parliamentarians are saying should happen to all of us. They should also lead by example. When they turn 65, they must retire and then leave youngsters to take the country forward.
Prof Mngomezulu, thank you so much for your time and your insights. Really do appreciate it. That is political analyst, Professor Bheki Mngomezulu.